So Matt asked something about regardless of the legal implications of Atmos versus Auro speaker locations, isn't an Atmos mix specifically engineered for perhaps inferior prescribed Atmos layout? How about let me pose the question this way: you recommend 30 degrees. Can can others recommend 30 degrees also, or is that only
Yep.
for you?
But the nice thing is the following. You know that in the beginning, Dolby was very, let's say, clear about it as between the 45 and 55 degrees, let's say, overhead. But they added later in their specs the 30-degree angle as well. So they allow the 30 degree, yeah. And now there was even recently, I think it was like last month in Japan, they announced publicly for the studios they allow as well that they can install the 30-degree angle. So when it is being produced in that way, because for music it makes a lot of sense. If the in let's say if the sounds are too much overhead in music, it sounds very unnatural. Most of the sounds, the direct sounds, and let's say the most important reflections are coming, let's say, typically between that lateral, let's say that vertical stereo,
Right.
let's say that vertical coherent field, where Auro 3D has the ear level and the height layer. Yeah, so from a creative point of view, you can do so much more. Let's say with the Auro 3D speaker layout, yeah, because you can put so much more information in the height layer. When it is coming too much overhead, and suddenly you are not going to do it. So you, as a content creator, you make different decisions depending on where exactly this height layer is. Yeah, and the point is, if you have it in Dolby Atmos overhead and you play it back over Auro, yeah, then typically that works very well. The other way around is not so good, because if you have put things positioned in your height layer and you're going to put it then suddenly overhead, that is not so good. So it is good news that Dolby allows now this 30 degrees, which means that if you install at home 30 degrees, you can play back every format.
So, look, how about a more specific question? They said they allow 30 degrees, but that's a little bit different from them like recommending like 30 degrees is the correct angle.
No, I think they will. I think they will stick on their, let's say, their first specs. But the
I like
point
it higher.
now, what I see more as a problem is because now the spec is too wide. That's like in the beginning we had you remember this discussion with the surround speakers? They were like the cinematic guys that said, okay, it has to be on 110 degrees. The
Right.
music guys said, oh, I like it on 135 degrees. Yeah, I like it more from the back. And yeah, what's now the good one? For such certain content is like better that way. And the industry and the music want to do a little bit different. So it is important that we are trying to come to a common understanding what is the best speaker layout. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, but that's because of, let's say, my background and my tests and everything what I know. I'm pretty sure that the Auro 3D speaker layout gives always a good result. Yeah, whatever kind of content you are playing back over it. Yeah, and that was even, let's say, even in digital cinema, if you are mixing, if they are playback, if they do playback, Dolby Atmos mix over Auro-Max. Yeah, that sounds really very good.
So one
I
thing
think-
that
Go
one
ahead,
thing
go
I
ahead.
keep hearing, like in comments from my audience, is especially those that are from America, and Daryl even mentioned it back here. I'll pull his up. Says, what are the plans to get more dedicated Auro 3D content in North America? Is there, because that's always the struggle. It's like, man, we would love to have this dedicated content over here, and Chana's like, man, he's on the European eBay site, trying to ship them over here.
Wilfried's smiling over here.
Yeah, because we are working with a few, let's say, parties to work on content. We are it's in the flow at this moment. Yeah,
Cool.
you will hear more about it. Especially in music, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Yeah.
Nice.
And of course, typically what happens as well, the more devices in the market, the more there's like that kind of pull effect coming from it. So it's that solving that chicken and egg thing. I was not that much concerned because I know what kind of joy that you have already if you have the Auro 3D system and you have Auro-Matic. Yeah, I'm so surprised. I didn't tell you last time, but I have more and more. There's a trend from people having this vinyl. Yeah, vinyl record.
Gotcha.
They take their pickup, their vinyl player. Yeah, the stereo out, they put it in their AV receiver, and they do an upmixing, and then you hear your vinyl record in Auro 3D. It's really
I like that.
All right, I'm gonna have to do that. I gotta find a record player though. I sold my Technics the other day.
That's great, because that's a very good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you guys this. I don't know if you can see this. Can I zoom in a little bit more? So on my community page, I asked this. I put up a poll. I said I made a short video, and it was a binaural recording of the Atmos helicopter demo and two layouts, layout A or layout B. Okay, I didn't say which one was which. I just said, here, listen to this on headphones. I recorded it binaural, and just let me know based on that. Now, my binaural mics are flat from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, so don't worry about that. Anyway, 66% layout B. So layout B is actually the 30-degree angle recommended from Auro. I hope you didn't get worried there, Wilfried. But yeah, this is the
wouldn't have brought it up.
I did it before and after. The other one was, to Dolby spec, and this is what's interesting. This is using Dolby Atmos content, so I could only imagine, like, if I were to upmix this or use Auro, I'm sure it'll be better. So this is just the layout by itself. Yes. So anyway, I thought that was a little bit interesting there. Thought you might like that.
In Joe's video too, he also said that the installation process so much easier.
It so just much makes easier. Sense. I mean, you don't realize. So these are the things you don't realize until you actually do it. Okay, so putting speakers on the ceiling sucks because on a wall you can route it down below and then all you have to worry about
the wiring,
stuff, right?
Wiring.
But if you're gonna have to go towards the center of the room, now you're like, should I just route it up the wires up the ceiling then? So that, and also just like it's much easier to put a speaker on a wall. I think it looks better. All these things. I'm like, I hope it sounds better because it sure is easier and it looks better. So, and in my opinion, it does sound. What I would say is it sounds different, and it's tough because that was native Dolby Atmos content, and so I don't know if it was optimized. They might have optimized it for that demo specifically. But some people were saying that it sounded more clear with layout A, but some people were also saying that layout B sounded, of course, wider because the speakers were further, right? So it sounded more spacious. So just different. It sounded different. So one sounded more spacious. The other one maybe it was more direct because the speakers were closer. But based on this poll, people seem to like B better. Let's just say it's even. Let's just say, for example, let's say, statistically speaking, they're even. Even then, I think I might just rather recommend people just put up the 30-degree one then. If they're even, now you can use all of the different formats. Kind of makes sense.
But statistic, I know what the difference is. Statistic is not 50-50.
Okay. What is the statistic?
No.
Because mine's only 38 votes. So
the exact number. But what I see there, I think it's pretty true. Yeah. And let's say it is even with Dolby Atmos. I've seen things that people were going through 5 different movies, and 80%. That was in fact the difference. So they went even to 80%. There was only one movie where certain parts they said, okay, that was better in the original. All the rest was better on the speaker layout from Auro. So, but it's hard for me to tell that. But I think, let's say, what you see. And this is not me telling this. These are the feedback that I see from the market, from people doing all kind of tests with it, And then I have reasons why I know that the speaker layout from Auro will give a translation which is, let's say, more natural, and while you have that same kind of transparency as well, because it has to do with the fact as well that we are less sensitive for sounds coming from above, And additionally, in nature, there are not so much sounds coming from above. So if you put them, let's say, if you position them a little bit different, it's not only easier to install, but from an immersive perspective, I think you are getting easier to that kind of natural immersive sound experience.